hello. Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy, back at it again with the stuff. I don't know, what's the title? Godot+Rust+ECS, I don't know. Not the greatest stream title, to be sure. And then I'm also kind of thinking about actual stream stuff. I really should be exporting my VODs to YouTube. At least not the super recent ones, but you know how I do. Let's get to it. So this is Godot+Rust, which is actually not what it's called in GitHub. Yeah, here we are. Look at that. So we can execute things right now. Technically, we have shapes. They don't really do too much as of right now. Well, let's see. Oh, this is the wrong file. Let's see. Boom, boom. Godot+Rust. Yeah, let's open this up. Okay. Now you might notice that I have just another file open on my other monitor. This is an example of someone who actually already did a GD native thing using Rapier, which is the physics library I want to use. They're not using Rapier plus Bevy, they're just using Rapier 2D. That's what I'm going to try to use now. So I need to figure out what exactly do I need. So I'm probably just going to grab whatever they're using. So it looks like, I don't know what NA is. Is NA like an algebra? NA is probably an algebra. Yeah. If I had to guess. Let's see. So I can see here that they have a Rapier World 2D. So I probably need something like that. So physics pipeline. It might be a bit old as well. Like this might not actually exist anymore. Unresolved imports. So now we actually need to check the docs.rs. So Rapier docs.rs. So that's Rapier 3D. Just send me back to regular Rapier though. That's Rapier 3D. Island manager is responsible. Let's see, physics pipeline. Physics pipeline. Is this just available somewhere else? Or is this just in the prelude? This might just be in the prelude. So if we create another struct to start holding some stuff. So let's actually put this into another file because it's starting to get pretty crowded. So this is, yeah, let's put this in physics rs. Right. So then we'll do use Rapier prelude, and we'll just grab everything out of it. And I guess we'll also need to grab use GD native prelude all. It's not really giving me code completion like I thought it would. Not included in module tree, that's true. Very true. Mod physics. Please. This is errors. Oh, it's Rapier 2D, which is why it wasn't giving me code completion. Okay. So we have these two things. We'll do pub struct. We're actually going to follow this roughly. So this is, or we're not just going to follow it roughly. We're just going to follow this exactly almost. So this is Rapier world. Might as well call it 2D. Why not? Hit it with a derive. Native class. I know that there is actually was an update to GD native, or there's a release candidate at the very least. 10.0. So there are breaking changes, which is unfortunate, but that's it. So it goes. We should probably update to that at some point. Once it gets to a closer release candidate, because it seems like it's a pretty big update. So gravity, no. Ticks, I don't really know which one of these I need, so we're just gonna use the ones I think I need for now. So pipeline. They're using ref cells here. I'm not sure why. We can copy it for now. See how it feels. Try it on for size. Physics pipeline. Okay, so that's just in the prelude. Sick. Methods, impl, Rapier world, 2D. Function, new. So this is some sort of node. We'll return self. Well, to think about it, I think we need every one of these. I remember these being mentioned in the documentation. I don't know why these are all ref cells though. I guess like you need these because it requires interior mutability, maybe. Where interior mutability in Rust terms means that you are mutating immutable objects, almost, more or less. All right, I have my doubts as to whether or not this actually exists. So bodies, ref cell, rigid body sets. Does this exist? Yeah, a set of rigid bodies that can be handled by a physics pipeline. So what's the difference between... Alright, okay, so there are just rigid bodies and then colliders. So we can call this like rigid bodies just so I can know more about it, right? Because you can also have just kinematic bodies. So if I do ref cell, are there just... Is there like a static body? Nope. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe these are just bodies. Joints. I don't know if I need joints. So what are they using joints for? So, joints. I guess this is just for like determinism. Because I know that that is the title of the library. It's for determinism. So making sure that given the same set of input parameters, you will always get the same output parameter. So I don't know what these joints are doing. So I know colliders is easier to understand. Yeah. Do you need joints if you want to be able to step through? If you want to like run the thingy? Oh yeah, you do. Like no matter what, you just need joints to be in the physics pipeline, I guess. That's weird. That doesn't seem logical to me, but maybe we'll figure out something. Joint set. A set of joints that can be handled by a physics world. Sure. CCD, continuous collision detection. CCD solver, sure. And then boxes. I think that's actually something that isn't super required by the thing. Yeah, this just, yeah, these are just all the positions handled, or these are all the objects handled by the application, which we don't need. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I don't think this even needs to be a node. This just needs to be a resource, even. Yeah, actually, yeah. So this doesn't need to be GD native whatsoever, I think. So we just get rid of this, and there you have it, I suppose. Yeah. So can you implement, is default just available for this? Do we have default? Is that valid? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. I guess please debug. Oh no, these don't have any debug either. Well, I guess we'll figure it out. So impl Rapier world, which is just the physics thingy, handles all the physics stuff. So spawn, no. Add static, maybe. I guess there's like a pub function. What did I call the paddles, or what did I add to the paddles? The paddles were colliders. These were, he says as he tries to stall for more time. Don't really know. Like, these should not be affected by gravity. Defaults, yeah. Active collision types. Flags affecting whether or not collision detection happens between two colliders depending on the type of rigid bodies they are attached to. So this is a collider. So these are just colliders. Yeah, okay. So like public function. Yeah, so these are colliders, they'll be moving. That's what we want. Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I think I've done it wrong. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I guess this is like a static body. Yeah, rigid body builder. I'm not using that. I should be using that as it according to this. So this I'm using. Oh, I'm not even using a. Oh, I'm doing this very wrong. Okay. I think this is too complicated. Rigid bodies are only responsible for the dynamics and kinematics of the solid. Colliders can be attached to a rigid body to specify its shape and enable collision detection. A rigid body without a collider attached to it will not be affected by contacts because there's no shape to compute contact against. Hey. Wait. So a rigid body, dynamic, affected by external sources and contacts. In case the body cannot move, it acts as if it has an infinite mass and will not be affected by any force. It will continue to collide with dynamic bodies, but not with static nor with kinematic bodies. They're used for the ground or temporarily freezing a body. Okay, so this is extraordinarily wrong, which means I need to consider this. I need to reconsider this. So, collider. Hold on. Comment me. This will need to be changed to, we'll call this like, probably like physics body, I guess. Like physics body, right? So physics body has a collider, which will be a Rapier to the collider, I suppose. So they'll all need colliders, and they'll also need to have rigid bodies. Maybe the API docs. Also, let's see, where is my, let me go, spawn in my bot. So I don't feel so alone. Rigid body builder, right? Rigid body builder builds a rigid body, obviously. And then how does it know what to build, right? Because these all build. They return self because it's a builder. Yeah, what is, I mean, the build must be based off of some traits, right? No. Oh, it's just a rigid body. Oh, okay, neat. So this will be the body, which will be some sort of rigid body. Look at that. So this is rigid body. So I just got to be very careful, because Godot has a rigid body, but also there's the other type of rigid body. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. Hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. I set up the OSF tracking in app now. I did the initial setup and makes the folder. Start. So what file do I need to specify? Let's hit him with a ping. There we go. There's prereqs. What are the prereqs? I forget. Beautiful. Okay. So, going back to this. ECS. So there's your, well, we have the paddle component, ball component. These are just like essentially components to define whether or not something is a, well, I guess just like identify what the object is. So they're like label components almost. And then drawable is the drawable, physics body is the physics body. Yeah, actually most of these, yeah, these components all make sense. Let's not make it too complicated. Now, here, this collider thingy is no longer correct, but we will want to add something new. So paddle is the easiest one for me to understand. So let's see what you're doing. They create the collider. Well, they create the physics body and then the collider, but I feel like it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter which order you create them in, as long as you have something. Oh, but then you need to keep track of the colliders. Oh, and you also need to keep track of all the bodies. Interesting. Which means here we need to create a resource. Oh no. So how do I create a new one of these? Like, so if I want to create a new one, what does this mean? So boom boom. So public function. So it's just like new. Return self. I think that's okay. We'll need to be able to call tick on it as well. I'm not sure. What is ticks used for? I think this is just for like the determinism. Yeah. Yeah, this is just for like determining the determinism part. We don't really care about delta, right? Because that's what Godot is handling. Gravity, there is no gravity, but I don't know, we might as well have this, right? So we can do gravity. This can be a Godot thing. So gravity is some sort of vector 2, which is a Godot thing. This should technically be an error, but apparently not. This will return a self. Let's see. So gravity will be a vector 2 new 0 0. It's going to throw an error because these aren't floats. Maybe. Pipeline. And these are all ref cells, I guess, because these need to be grabbed at some point. So physics pipeline. Please. You know what it is. Rust analyzer. Broad phase, don't really know what that means. What I have to assume is that broad phase means that like it's like a first pass across all physics bodies, maybe just like checking to see which ones are close to each other, and then it organizes them. And then narrow phase actually checks the real collision between objects. So like broad phase probably checks like possible collisions. And then narrow phase is, you know, actual collision detection. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. I have no idea. What are we doing? I'm just kind of... Oh, you know what? Rigid body... I think I saw in the Godot+Rust Discord as well, someone did like a bevy thing, but they were using like a full bevy, not like... Alright, give me 1 sec. I feel like I typed the same thing over and over again, but... Let's see. I've done this over and over again. I need to like keep the command with me. Alright, there we go. Maybe. Possibly. No. Maybe. I wonder if this will work. Let's get distracted. Open CFace. What is the actual script looking for? So this is run Open CFace on Linux. So I need them to test out this script here. So it should be project from the folder. we're getting there. So this is resources. Trying to think. Scripts. Run OSF Linux question mark. Oh, because I don't have the Python. Open cface. This is tough. Just trying to figure this out from memory. Oh, hello Nova. Hello. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty alright before you ask. What I'm working on is the Bevy plus Godot plus other stuff. But right now, really quickly. Linux support. Why is Linux support always so tough to do? Alright. Hold on. I can find it. Geez, I don't know what the default tracker thing is. I know this. We can find it. Just getting some food ready and good to hear. I was gonna ask. Yeah, just really quickly. Really quickly. Helping out Ren. Help out me. Should give an error log. Yeah. A tongue sprite. It's whatever you want it to be. It was supposed to be a bar of soap, but I can see how it looks like a tongue. No, I don't know. Someone came into the stream one day and was just like, hey, could you make like a bar of soap? I'm like, yeah. Not an artist, but we can make it work. Yeah. You know what did happen to me today was I did pass a professional exam. So now I have yet another exam under my belt. How nice. I guess it is kind of cheating because it is my own company's certification exam. So, and it also, like, it's the one of the prereqs, so I'm actually also kind of cheating. Or I should actually have some of my certification stripped away from me, actually. Because I didn't have this certification before. But it does allow me to keep my, my RHCA, Red Hat Certified Architect, certification current. How nice. Although it's weird, the skill set I got for it, because there's like two types of like architect certifications. I don't really know how valuable it is. It does make me feel important though, because I can put it in my LinkedIn. You know, Tim Yun, RHCA. How fancy. But there's like the infrastructure one and the app dev one. App dev one, way less valuable. But that's also the only one I'm really good at. I'm not very good at infrastructure. Infrastructure scary. Although I do have a few of them. Alright, so collider. The collider actually doesn't need to change position. It does need to have a size. Restitution, probably not. So what I'm looking at right now is technically unlicensed, but let's be quiet about it. But it is someone who has already used a Rapier for their Godot application. And so this is actually a demonstration of them having this run on the via web export, which is kind of cool. How neat. I suppose we'll drop a link in chat. So it should actually be way more deterministic than Godot's built-in physics engine as well. But they did not use Bevy, so now I'm just looking at their implementation and trying to figure out, like, what do I do? What do you do? I feel like your project portfolio is more valuable. At least that's what I used to look for whenever I helped in hiring. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I don't know. Now whenever recruiters look at my, or I guess when actual technical people look at my project portfolio, how do I get to my project portfolio? I guess this is kind of my project portfolio. The first question is like, what the heck is GD scripts? Don't you have any Java projects or Python projects? And then I have to explain myself. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really want to work on Java in my free time. Or sorry, I don't create Jenkins pipelines just for fun. You just gotta trust me that I know what I'm doing. Yeah, but actually, whenever I helped with hiring, whenever the applicants would show off their, I guess, project portfolio, I'm almost never impressed. It's like, yeah, check it out. It's a thing. It's a thing that inverts a binary tree or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Not really something I would want to show off, but you do you. Alright, so this is a kinematic. What's the difference between these two? Jenkins pipeline hobbyist is not something you ever expected here. Yeah. I think there are some almost cool things you can do with Jenkins, but it's like Jenkins plugins, much less like a pipeline. Like I think there's opportunities for like cool plugins, but like I think the problem is like if you're still working at a company that uses Jenkins, you're probably not using anything new at all. Because everyone's already moved on to like Circle CI or GitLab CI or whatever. Be altered by the physics engine. User is free to set its next position, and body velocity will be deduced at each update. These for moving platforms, elevators. So that's velocity. The velocity must not be altered. Position must not be altered. Oh, okay. Interesting. So this is new, please. New kinematic position base. New kinematic. For sure, you gotta find those that are doing project they're somewhat passionate about and not just trying to add filler stuff to impress potential employers. Oh yeah. Well, that's actually kind of what that's what brought about like the entire streaming thing for me. And then like this is like my most proudest project because now I no longer have the weird question, which is like don't you have any projects people actually use? I'm like, I didn't used to have any of those, but now I'm like, check it out. We got the stars. Don't worry, it has nothing to do with actual technology companies. Unless we're trying to talk about like VTubers or whatever. So let Mutable body. So the body needs a collider and a body. Yeah, I feel like I've mentioned this a million times before, but like I used to have, I don't have a rigid body builder. Yeah, back when I was looking for jobs and all that, used to run in a ton of issues just getting, because I just kept getting filtered out by the recruiters. Because I don't have an actual CS background. So I get it, you know, because I don't have a CS background, it's kind of harder to vet whether or not I'm, you know. Ooh, hold on. If we move this here, yeah, it's harder to vet me as to whether or not like I'm actually qualified, since you can't just go off my schooling experience or even my work history, because my work history just says consultant basically. How tough. So this, I wonder, maybe I don't need these at all? Hold on, so let's grab all these, comment them out. Just construct the colliders and all of this here. Don't do any of this. We can grab these transforms or these positions from the transform afterwards. Don't set any of this like restitution or collision solver groups. We'll just use all the defaults, because I think that's what this person's doing as well, is that they're just using the default values. You're doing well now though, so I'd hire you. Thank you, fellow streamer. I too would hire me to possibly mop the floors. Mop floors, pick up boxes, put down boxes, wrap burritos. No, those are skills I can definitely attest to having. Oh man, I worked as a fry cook for a little bit, for one summer, and let me tell you, that was the hardest job I've ever had. Just absolutely horrible. I guess we don't need this. So as long as the collider is attached to the... So is it, as long as the collider is attached to the the rigid body, it's okay? There's... I need the quick start. Where's the quick start? This is too complicated. But yeah. Fry cooking, people say, like, talk about it like it's like a, you know, it's a job that everyone has to do once in their life, and maybe it would be good for people to do it once in their life. Because like slaving over like a hot grill, having to pick up heavy things and put them down because, you know, generally the fry cooks are, one, older, so they're also usually dudes, so they usually get them to do all the heavy picking up and putting down of objects. Hey, is this not it? Translation, hey. For me, for fry cook, the tech support for an ISP is being as bad. I've never done like tech support or any sort of support stuff. Done a lot of food service though. That's how I kept myself fed when I was still in university. Is I would work for like 4 days a week and then just not eat the other 3 days. And then on the lunch break, because we used to get like just free food during our break, so I would just make myself like a really big, it was a burrito place. So I would make myself a burrito bowl, then also get just the burrito, the tortilla with it, And then people will look at me like, what the heck? This guy's eating like 3 people's worth of food. No, I would stuff it down. It's amazing. I'm still like, or I'm not like super messed up from eating stuff like that. Is there no translation? Doesn't this gives you a builder, then the builder gives you a translation. What am I missing here? Takes 1 argument, but 2 arguments were supplied. A vector. Who? I need a vector? Oh, really? Okay. Translation. Vector real. Okay. Now I want a burrito. Working around the food assemblers who constantly bumping into you and sending you right into the grill. Yeah. Yeah. Although, the one saving grace about that job was that, because it was at Wendy's, right? And I'm now blacklisted from that Wendy's as well because I just one day was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then just quit on the spot. Was that because I was the fry cook, that meant I also handled all the bacon. So whenever you're cooking bacon, oops, I broke one. Might as well eat the entire thing. So I ate a lot of bacon during that summer. It's pretty good. I would probably still eat at Wendy's. I would not eat any Wendy's chili though. I think that goes for like a lot of food places, right? Like food's not horrible except for like a few things that are just like, whoa, that's gross. So this is the collider. This is the thing. Create paddle. We need to pass in. We need to pass in the Rapier world somehow. So I guess in ECS we'll need to just hold on to this object here. So let's do use create physics Rapier world 2D, and that's what we're gonna call it. We'll add it to ECS. So this is physics world, I guess. There you go. This is, we're gonna base this off of this, or we're gonna base the constructor for Rapier world off of this thing, which I got distracted at. Well, McDonald's for me, I'm not gonna eat any more McGriddles. Oh yeah. Isn't like most things at McDonald's are just like microwaved anyways? Like they throw it on the grill for a little bit, or they microwave it and then throw it on the grill to give it that final char, and then that's it. I mean, I don't blame them. But, you know, like working at a burrito place, I would never eat like any fish taco from any burrito place that isn't like, yeah, pretty much anywhere that's not near the ocean. I would not eat a fish taco. Because that fish has probably been sitting there for forever. If it's not near the ocean, or you're not near like a river or a big lake or something, you know, I got bad news. All right, I think this is good. These need to be floats. Yeah, also chips at burrito places tend to be like a few days old. That might also be a little gross for some people. I also hated. I pretty much any job that forces you to stand over something that's very hot and potentially could boil back to burn you. I'm just done. Ugh. So many like micro burns from like the first day, or it was like whenever you're at the chip station just frying up more chips, you would always need to change your gloves like every hour, or else the glove would start to stick to your hand because it's starting to melt. She used to grill or fry a bunch of stuff, but yeah, anything gets put into a gross microwave should not be eaten. Yeah. Yeah, I remember like at Wendy's, like the burgers for the most part were pretty good, but whenever like when the line starts to get really, really long, right? Because I was the indoor fry cook. Then there was the drive-through fry cook who has priority. It would be like, hey, I need like 5 patties. So I'd be all right. And then there was a little window between us, because the 2 stations are separated to maintain cleanliness. But there was a little window between the 2 grills, and then we would just kind of we would throw the patties through that window. Because sometimes the little box would just be like in the wash. I mean, all right, I don't know how I'm going to get you the patty, so like, get ready. I'm going to throw it at you. It's kind of gross, but also like explains a lot. Horrible times. Horrible times. I liked working inventory at Walmart a lot more. Bodies insert. So bodies is this one. Wait, so wait a minute. So what does that do? Wait a minute, rigid body set. Insert gives you it gives you a handle, and then you do a thing with this. And then why doesn't this have a quick start? Like this is like talking a lot about each thing, but I don't care about the implementation. Hey. That's tough. Oh, thanks for reading a hydrate. Cheers to our shared horrible times. Yeah, cheers. There you go. 250 milliliters. Yeah, never again. Working inventory, a lot easier. That's like 2 hours of like unloading trucks, 6 hours of walking around aimlessly picking things off shelves. The best part. All right, so this we need to pass in. This needs to be a mutable borrow as well. So this needs to be. It's not a reference, is it? So if you, yeah, this needs to be a mutable reference to a bodies and colliders. I guess we'll grab both of these. This is starting to turn into just an absolutely horrible function. This will be bodies. So mutable reference to a rigid body set and a collider set. Yeah. So rigid body set and collider set. So we'll grab both of these. So bodies, mutable reference to a rigid body set. Not related to Godot's rigid body at all. Rigid body sets, and then colliders, which is actually very similar to, I guess, how Godot does it, right? So Godot has, like, you have your body, but then like your body doesn't actually need to have a collider, or you need to explicitly assign a collider, because there are actually implementation to different things, interestingly enough. which I always thought was just kind of like, what if you wanted to change your collider at runtime? But actually, I guess like in most technical implementations, they are completely separate things. So, interesting, interesting. Okay. So we have all these. We only use this to set the transform. And then the transform is used for two things as well. It's used for positioning the actual sprite in the visual server. And then that transform is also used for positioning the collider, which will be attached to the body. Okay. So then we'll do let body handle, kind of a weird name. Bodies insert. So this will be body, I guess, which will be your rigid body handle. And then, do I need to have the index? No, I don't need to have the index. What do you use the index for? Yeah, no, that's just used for counting. I don't need that. Counting's for nerds. Let's do it in the same order that they're doing it. So there's your collider. And then colliders insert. I'm assuming that this also gives me, yeah, this gives me a collider handle, but I guess I just discard it afterwards. Yeah, I guess we just kind of like drop it. The box collider. So yeah, so we insert the collider. We insert the body handle. That's it. Ooh. Wait a minute, am I doing something different? Expected 1 argument, found 2. Oh no, okay. Is this not what I thought it was? So colliders, this is a collider set. They're using colliders as a collider set. Is it colliders set? No, this is collider set. Ooh. Are these different? So that's a rigid body set. What collider set? Collider set insert. Just takes a collider. Insert with parents. Okay. So that's just an API change. Oh, and then we okay. So it's an API change, then it. Why would you ever want to insert a collider just by itself? This seems kind of weird. And then we'll pass in a mutable reference to whatever bodies that we have, even though it's kind of weird since this should already be like a borrowed. We're already borrowing it here. And what they're doing is that they are instancing in a box. They're setting the position. Probably. Huh. How did they position these? Now I'm thinking about it. Oh, they just grab. They don't. Oh, so that's how this works. So this code here. So we can actually run it via the web. This is running via Rapier. This is Godot plus Rapier in the web. Oh, interesting. So they're not actually assigning a collider for each sprite. Well, I guess they technically are because they're moving each sprite based off of index. So they're relying on the order. That's interesting. I should always make the thing that the collider goes one. So many. Yeah. Well, I think what they're trying to show off here, which is also why it stopped. What they're trying to show off is that you'll get the same results every single time. Whereas I think with Godot's, it's not as deterministic. I think Godot's has a bit of randomness associated with it. Yeah. I think they have another repository. This person, by the way, I didn't realize they wrote Git UI or Git TUI. I've always pronounced it Git TUI, but look at that. This person wrote this tool, 7.3 thousand. And then they also just wrote this thing as well, which is actually pretty cool. Look at this. So you can check out the demo, which is actually an example of using Godot, or this is actually Rapier. And then if you use the Godot physics, you can see that the Godot physics are kind of wonky, even though they should in theory have roughly the same values. So you can see the Godot physics, they tend to like kind of wiggle at the bottom. Whereas with Rapier, you have, I guess, less wiggling. So it actually looks a lot better, which is cool. And then it's also running in the web, which means that they've compiled the Rust stuff separately from the Godot stuff, since Godot plus GD native is kind of wonky, right? Because GD native doesn't get compiled, or it doesn't export well, or it doesn't export at all actually, using Godot's web export templates. And so compiling for web is always super strange, with GD native at least. Or if you want to generate your own web templates. I've actually never gotten Godot to compile an mscriptum template for web builds. That's what I want for my game, I think, although I probably don't have the job set to add it. Well, hopefully. Well, one, the code is open source. Well, actually, it's not open source. It's open. It's open. Has source available, but is not free and open source because there's no license. Okay, but I think I understand what they're doing here. So they're not tagging things to each entity, they're just doing it based off index, which is fair enough. So I guess, how do they update? So they go into each box, they do it by index. So what do they add to boxes? So they add falling box, which is the handle, the body handle, right? They're just doing falling box. Yeah, okay. Which means that this is what I want to insert as well. Yeah, so I don't actually need the collider, although it would be kind of cool to have. Yeah, okay. So physics body, we can just have the rigid body associated with it, or let's do both. Let's do both. Why not? Oh, yeah. Hello, Bumdy. Hello, hello. Check this out. So I found this stuff. So someone already did a Godot versus Rapier comparison. I posted this already, but we'll post it again. It's not actually free and open source because there's no license, but that's okay. We just won't talk about it. And it has a web build as well, which is cool. So this is Rapier, and this is Godot. So you can see the Godot physics are kind of wonky versus the Rapier ones, which look a lot better, at least in web builds, because they don't wiggle at the bottom. Whereas with Godot, you can see that they'll kind of wiggle once you have too many of them. Yeah, so you can see it's wiggling here. But the way that they've done it is actually kind of close to how you might do it with an ECS, but they're doing it, each collision object is associated via array position or array index. So I'm trying to think about how I would want to do this here, because here they have the handle, but what does the handle give me here? So like what's the difference between a collider and a collider handle? Yeah, it's just an index. Yeah. I guess that's probably okay. Maybe. Question, can this work on mobile? Well, I mean, it's working via WebGL, so probably. As long as your phone isn't like ultra slow. The hard part, of course, so if you look at their repository, they have to compile their own stuff to Emscripten themselves. And I've never gotten Emscripten to work. I've never been able to compile with Emscripten before. I've tried before, but it's just weird. Like there's a lot of build dependencies I'm probably missing. So if someone has like a Docker file that I can have, that would be sick. But right now it just looks like it's just a bunch of scripts and a lot of tweaking. Can that rustlib build for ARM or mobile? I mean, whatever targets Rust supports. I don't think they're using any. Yeah, it's just whatever targets Rust supports. So you can build Rust applications for Android. I know that. And yeah, it does build on ARM as well. I don't know. I mean, there's the, Rust, ARM, build, ARM. Yeah, cross compilation or whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's one of the targets. I don't remember what the supported targets are though. Or if like ARM is a tier 1 support or is like a tier 2 support. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, this needs to be the rigid body. Update hash, update boxes. So how do we set the position based off of the... Oh, okay. I see. So this should just be the physics body handle, or I guess rigid body handle. Yeah, let's use that. And then this should be the collider handle. Handle. There we go. Which are just integers that point towards something in the Rapier world. So then you have your bodies and your colliders. And then we have to use interior mutability if we want to access them, since they are already borrowed. Before we couldn't find very specific documentation. I'm struggling with Godot for physics. Yeah, I think I'm almost there. Now that I have like an actual quick start, because I've read through this more or less, the actual docs for Rapier. This isn't really a user guide, unfortunately. This is more of like a. This is like a like. This reminds me of actually like a textbook. So I'm struggling. I don't really understand. But then I found this, and now I'm feeling a lot better. It's funny. Some physics objects have been initialized in init, but if I move some part in ready, it doesn't work the same way. That might be like a report worthy. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're using Godot for Alpha 3. I guess check this out as well. Look at this. I found a bug that's reproducible. You can try it out yourself. It's so easy. It's one of those things that like no one would ever want to do though, except for me. Where the idea is like I want to generate scripts at runtime. But if you want to generate a script at runtime, you must copy it from another script. So what I was trying to do was I was trying to copy the current node's script, duplicate it, and then like start inserting code into it. But what happens when you do that is that the parser for the editor actually segfaults, which is neat. I don't remember why it segfaults. Some other people did some more looking into it. But it doesn't cause a crash at runtime, but the editor just can't handle it. It doesn't know what to do. Are you mentioning it? Oh, okay. Guess I'm not as interesting as I thought. Physics body. Let's see. So there's so are these handles? Oh, I guess these are just values, huh? So this will take a body, which is some sort of rigid body handle, I suppose, and then we'll see if that works, and then a collider, which is a collider handle. And then just self, body, collider, something like that, right? Easy. Physics body. So we'll insert the body handle. Where is it? Body handle, and then we'll let this one equal let's collider handle. Yeah, and then we'll just look for this. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's a niche use case. Not many people stumble over it. Yeah. What I was trying to work on was an actual REPL within Godot. So I already have something that kind of works, right? So, or it's not kind of works. It works sort of. So the idea was like not. I think other people have made like pseudo REPLs in Godot using the expression class, but that doesn't save state. Like you can try to save state, but it's not the same. So instead what I was trying to do was I generate like a completely separate scene tree from the normal one, and then just kind of, you know, then you can start adding nodes, replacing nodes, getting rid of nodes without actually affecting the main scene tree. The downside is that whenever you use a different scene tree, it breaks the debugger. As with a lot of things I do, the debugger tends to no longer function as expected. But yeah, like I know like a you know, like a Python REPL, whatever changes that you make, you can then like just still access them in the same scope. Whereas with the expression class, you need to put them somewhere and then do a bit of fancy logic to get those values back if you want them to persist. So my idea was that you could just write like a class basically in the REPL, Lisp style almost. All right, so this is wrong. We need to do the same thing here, which is like maybe like yet another function. So like this is like build. Yeah, it's like function creates physics body, I guess. So each physics body has a, I guess like a size. So like we'll do a width, which is some sort of F32. It's not true. This is, yeah, actually, yeah, some sort of F32. Some sort of height, also an F32. And then a position, we'll call it a transform, why not? Just a transform. Transform 2D. And then this will give you back a physics body. Yeah. +1 for Lisp reference. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to go back and rewrite the Lisp that's currently on my itch.io. Oh, and then you need the physics world. Because because I need the, well, I need the bodies and the colliders because I need to pass those into there. We'll just put these at the end for now, and we'll think of a better implementation later. This Rapier's so good. It's fast. It's cool. It's just a lot more manual setup that I'm not used to, and there's also no quick start guide, which is makes it tough for brainlets like myself. Copy and paste all of this stuff. We grab the handle. There's your handle. Get rid of this part as well. And then here we'll just do, wish it was easier to just put in Godot. Well, it's because I don't really know what I'm doing. It probably looks a lot more complicated, or I'm making it look more complicated than it actually is. But once I get it down, I think I'm starting to understand it. I think I'm starting to understand it. Maybe. Yes, this is good. So create physics body, pass in. It's not even that hard. I wish it was like native easy. Well, I mean, that's the problem with any native code, right? Like it's the closer you are to the metal, the more verbose it's gonna be. So there's no way around that. Found I-64. Wait, these are I-64s? Okay, so I-64, I-64. And then we just kind of switch it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Then we don't even need the other parts, right? We can just do this. So we just insert it directly like that. And then for the ball, we can do the same thing here. So don't even create the collider, but now we pass in the, put any Rust lib in it with a few buttons. What do you mean? What's it? You mean Godot? I think Godot is, it's not hard to do it. You just need to, I guess, figure it out. Or have someone who knows what they're doing figure it out first, and then we can do the rest. Rigid body set. All right. So that should be okay. And now we have a few problems here because these are all using this stuff. So I need to get mutable borrows to physics world stuff. Make wrappers. You can surely use Rapier. It's like it's native physics lib, right? Yeah, kind of. It won't be as, I don't know, actually. I suppose, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe you could try. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there comes to a point where it becomes more performance, but if you're only doing something with a few physics bodies, it's probably not as performant. Godot's built-in stuff, while it might not be as deterministic as Godot's, I think there's still the problem of going over the FFI. So you have at least one level of indirection, which causes a slowdown, right? You know, the fastest part is just like compiling it in with Godot proper. So I think if you're not doing like things with like tons of physics bodies, it's not really worth it to do this, or to use the Rust library. So unless you, one, need determinism, like you need it to do the same thing every single time, or two, you have a ton of physics bodies, I don't think it's worth it. Oh, you know what? This might not work. This might not work. So I don't think I'm allowed to do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's private. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with this. Public. All right. Now, take 7 arguments. Oh, good. 5 arguments supplied. Okay, so then we pass in. All right, now we're just gonna slowly unwind the error stack here. So consider borrowing mutably here. Okay. Okay, one more. All right, I'm pretty sure once I do this last part, it's gonna give me an error. So physics world is a Rapier world, 2D. Create a new one. Fix up the ball thing as well. So we'll just slap this in here. We start to bubble it up because we cannot borrow bodies as mutable because it's not declared as mutable. All right, see now, okay, this is where I'm also confused. Oh, wait. No? Thinking. What is the problem here? So cannot borrow bodies as mutable. Why did I do this? That's because they did that. Bodies. Not mutable. But it is a mutable reference to a rigid body set. But then this also needs to be a mutable. Maybe this also just needs to be mutable? Is that how that works? I'm a little confused. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's okay. This does not need to be mutable. Sure. I have my doubts, but I mean, as long as it compiles, I guess I can't complain. All right, build me. Build me. Oh, baby, it builds. Okay, how scary. So this actually does not need to be mutable either, but that doesn't change anything. We should just be able to run it and nothing should happen. The best part. Okay. So, okay, that's good. Nothing happens. Which means we didn't crash immediately, which means I'm not doing anything super dangerous. This part we can take out. We don't need the collider. We don't need to directly create the collider anymore. Okay. So now we just need to do the collision system. So how are they moving their boxes? So this Godot Rapier thing is node set position. Okay, so what they're doing what they're doing here. So what this is doing is they generate the physics bodies and then they just move the sprite to match it, which makes sense. Whereas here, what I want to do I need to change anything here then? So paddles doesn't really need to change. I think the ball system does need to change. And actually, because it's a drawable, I'm thinking. I'm missing something here. I think I've got my order wrong. So paddles aren't affected by physics, so this doesn't matter. Although we should probably still be moving the physics body along with it, maybe. So if we do this, so we look for something that's a paddle, something that is a drawable that we can mutate, and then something that is a physics body that we can mutate as well. Then we'll do mutable body. Right. So then, oh, you know what? I think I got this backwards then. Yeah. I think I got this backwards. Maybe. So maybe now that I actually have the handle to the physics body, and then these are actually handles, which means that I need to have this resource available to me as well. So can I do this ECS world insert resource? Because this needs to be available to the ECS, right? So we insert self physics world. Am I allowed to do that? I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't think so. Ooh. Oh, this isn't, I don't have this. Oh, ECS, physics world. So we just pass in this. Cannot be shared between threads safely. Not implemented for ref cell. Okay. That's fair. Haven't I done this before? Actually with the bot code. So Rusty Potato Bot. What is it called? Rusty Potato Bot. Yeah. Didn't I do something similar here? So I wasn't... Okay, so I was using a read-write lock, not a ref cell. Okay. Oh, I was using an atomic reference... Well, no, I was just using a read-write lock. Okay. So if I turn all of these into read-write locks as opposed to ref cells. So it's sync read-write lock. Use standard sync read-write lock. Sure. All right. So comment me. Just replace all of these the old-fashioned way. And then we can do something like this, and then maybe that's okay. No. Maybe. Use potato to name all sorts of stuff. Yeah. It's the auto-generated name that GitHub gave me one time for like the dialogue editor I wrote. It was like friendly. Why not name it like friendly potato? I was like, you know what? That's a great name. Fantastic name. And so now for all the the kind of weird dev tools I make, I just call them friendly potato something, as opposed to just calling it like, you know, language. It's now friendly potato language or whatever. It's not just editor, it's friendly potato editor. You know, pixel art, the pixel art editor is not just pixel art editor, it's like friendly potato pixels. The project manager I made for Godot, which you might see every now and then because that's what this is. It's not just project manager, it's friendly potato project manager. It makes naming things really easy. All right, so how do I unwrap these? So we have self reaction add. Oh, I'm not able to. Okay, hold on. So let mutable bodies equal self physics world. What do we have? What does read write lock have on it? So Rust read write lock. It's okay. All right, so I need to. I think I'm just writing to it, right? Right. Expect unable to get. Oh, this is bodies, by the way. Bodies. To get bodies. Get rid of that. Yes. All right. It's kind of jank, but we're making it work. All right. We'll think about a better implementation sooner. I know that there's a reason why you shouldn't be doing this. It's not coming to me just yet. Although I do remember seeing this pattern pretty often within like the actual Godot code base as well. I think this is how arrays work inside Godot, is that they're also read-write locks. Or at least I've seen like the syntax, so you have write or you can read to get colliders. Something like that. I don't know. Give me a compile, just in case. Value used after partial move. Yeah, that's what I thought. Value used here after partial use. Can I pass in a mutable reference? No, I don't think you can. Does not live long enough. ECS world, or ECS physics world, dropped here while still borrowed, 162. Not necessarily true. Argument requires that ECS physics world is borrowed for static. This makes sense. So what if I do this? So I don't actually store. Yeah. What if I do this? So I don't actually store the physics world on the struct. We just kind of like create a new one and then insert it as a resource. All right, this is starting to get really, really weird. So we store it here. This is no longer valid, which means that we can now use a ref cell probably. So just get rid of this. I think ref cell is what most people like to prefer using, maybe. I don't know. I don't do too much actual thread programming. So now this is no longer a thing, but we can grab the resource from the world like this. So we'll just grab it like this, right? Here. So let physics world equal whatever the heck this is. Self world get resource mutable So this is Rapier World 2D. Should probably be expecting it. Unable to get physics world. And then physics world, blah, blah. Ooh, okay. So cannot be shared. All right, so we do need to use a ref cell because we are doing multi-threading. Multi-thread drifting. Cannot borrow mute, that makes sense. So now we need to do this, do that. Beautiful. Except now this is no longer self, this is now just a physics world that we've just kind of grabbed from the ECS. Please work. Ah, almost. Almost. Cannot borrow self world. Okay, so now we need to drop. We need to drop the physics world, I guess. But doesn't that mean we'd also drop? Yeah, doesn't that mean we also drop these values here? Am I not allowed to do that? Cannot move out of physics world because it is borrowed. Move out of physics world occurs at. Seems to be a little confused. So 178. Yeah. Borrow later used here. 193. Yes. Oh no. Okay. Hold on. So I need it. I need it. What I could do is... rigid body builder. No, this is rigid body set. So this just requires some rigid bodies. So I could just collect the results. So how create paddle just give me back like the, in addition to the RIDs, it can also just give me back the, like the actual rigid body struct, or not the struct, but the, like the data. It might be the struct. It'll just give me back the rigid body and then the collider, and then I'll insert them afterwards. So it's a bit weird, but I don't see another way past this. Because I think it does need to be a read-write lock, because we are, Bevy runs multi-threaded by default, which is good because, I mean, that's what it's good for. So we can't drop it. But we also cannot do this. Because 172, oh geez. 172, we grab the physics world. Do I need to have the world available in create paddle? I think I do. Maybe I don't. Hold on. Maybe I don't. I could just insert them later. So once I create the paddles, and then the ball and stuff, then I just insert everything into the world all at once, maybe? That looks correct to me. So then we don't need to mutably borrow things willy-nilly. Yeah, because we do need to have the physics world available at some point. We can't just leave it as null. The shot, I'd say. Yeah, I mean that's the tough part is I don't I don't really know the best way to do this. I think that makes sense. At some point I'm still thinking in Java terms where you just create helper functions or wrapper functions to wrap even more functionality. But this one is forcing me to be more correct, or at least have less indirection, if that makes sense. So we just stop passing things around as much. So is there any reason why I don't want to create the... I'm thinking. No, we need to do it like this, almost for sure. What I was also thinking, right, is we could have it so that we create the rigid body set and the collider set in ready, and also create the world in ready as well, because technically this does not need to exist at this point in time. This doesn't need to exist here. It could just exist later. And so then we get rid of this call. Right, so then we don't need to do any scary read, write, lock stuff. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's no harm in doing it either, I suppose. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Yeah. Let's do the first idea first. So instead of passing, or I guess directly adding things to... No, that doesn't make any sense because we need to... No, we need to do it here, right? Because we need to know which entity it is. Like, I suppose we could do some sort of weird indirection where we could just continue to pass around the mutable entity, but that doesn't seem like a good idea. Like, we need to insert the physics body along with the entity here. Like, we don't need to, but that makes the most sense to me, to just insert everything all at once, which means if I write a new function, pub function, let's do this as well. Comment that out. This now takes this takes a rigid body set that we'll be taking ownership of. So it'll be bodies, I suppose, which will be a rigid body set, and a colliders, which is a collider set. I don't know if that's actually super correct. So colliders, something like that. And then these will already have values in them, which means that we'll need to... I don't know if that's... I don't think that's correct, actually. So save me. Which means we don't want to create the world just... This is really turning into a puzzle. This is turning into a puzzle. my favorite kind of code, but now it's just like the order of what we do things in. Because it makes sense to me to insert all the resources all at once. We could not do that, right? And then we just kind of create the physics world here. So let physics world equal Rapier world 2D. Actually, this doesn't even need to be created here. This can be created later, like after we create pretty much everything. So at the end of ready, then we'll do physics world is equal to something. Hold on. This one is no longer super complicated, right? Bodies will just be equal to rigid body set. Something like that. And then colliders will be very similar. Let mutable colliders equals collider set. Something like that, which means that this is all valid. And at the very end, new, what did I call it? Bodies? We just passed, I don't think this is correct. It might be correct. I don't know. Maybe. And then we'll do self, what was it? Self world insert resource. Physics world. Something like this. That doesn't feel good. But I don't see another way around it. That's still technically correct, and then we can just build it and see what happens. Please build. Yes. Then we can run it. We still have not even gotten close to actually implementing real collision. But at least we're able to run without crashing, which is good. Let's close this. This doesn't need the change. Actually, yeah, this doesn't need the change. This just runs the schedule, aka runs it off of Delta. This one, okay. Oh, what are we doing now? Oh, what I was doing before that was we needed the resource. So we need to grab rigid body set. So grab this based off of the rigid body handle. So this is, you added colliders? Yes, kind of. Oh, what I was doing before this, or the reason why I did all that, was because I need to access the physics world via the ECS. So I needed to move the physics world from being like a struct field to being an ECS resource, which is what this is. This feels really bad though. I don't like this. But maybe that's just how things go. There's also, yeah, the ECS is making this tough. Mostly because I'm not really considering it when I design the systems. But once we have something working, then we can start refactoring and it'll be beautiful. So this needs to be a mutable resource, Rapier World 2D, something like that. And then we'll need to tag Get mutable. Get a mutable reference to the rigid body with a given handle. Yeah. Is there a set position? Set. All right, so there's a set position. What's the difference between set position and set translation? Or set next kinematic translation? Oh, and then I also need a time step as well. That's crazy. Sets the position and next kinematic position. Yeah, of the rigid body. This will teleport the rigid body to the specified position orientation, completely ignoring any physics rules. That's true. If this body is kinematic, this will also set the next kinematic position to the same value, effectively resetting to 0 the next interpolated velocity of the kinematic body. If wake up is true, then the rigid body will be woken up. It was put to sleep because it did not move for a while. Does ECS care about physics world in a native way, or only if you want to interact with the physics server? What do you mean the physics server? I'm not touching the physics server in Godot whatsoever. Like it could, I guess, right? Because you can, as long as I can grab the physics server, so you can see here I'm actually grabbing the visual server. I mean Rapier? No, you need to tell it that you want to care about physics. Yeah, I mean that's the upside to doing this kind of development, or the benefit to doing ECS is that you only need to touch the parts of the program that you care about. Which also makes it hard, because you're not, if you don't know which parts of the program you care about, then you're in for a world of hurt. So physics body, this is a mutable physics body. The physics body contains handles to the collider. We don't actually use the collider handle though. We can do physics world get mute, no, bodies, read write lock, oh good, read expect unable to get body, sure. And we don't need to do all of this, right? Because we've already set the transform. So we'll do physics body. So this is let call this B. Let body equal this thing. So we're expecting it. Rigid bodies set, or yeah, I guess this is bodies, right? So it's locked. Bodies. I don't know. What do we have? It's get mutable, because we're reading from it. So we want to do body dot body. Yeah, b dot body, and that's your rigid body. It's an optional. No physics body found. So just let body, right? And then body set position. It's an isometry. That's good. I don't know what this means. We can set the translation, I suppose. Set next kinematic translation. What's an isometry? How do I create an isometry? Isometry? Is it isometry or isometry? Isometry. Don't really understand what that means. Set position, so isometry. New. Oh, good. I don't know what this means. Does a body already have a position? So we can apply force, so that's not going to do anything. That's tough. How did... So we've also completely gone off the rails, right? Because this one doesn't actually manually set the position of any body. Puts... Oh, sorry. I missed that. Good catch, good catch. Yeah. So the example I'm looking at, they don't actually manually set the position. So now we're in unknown territory, uncharted territory. Apply. I think we just want to do set next kinematic. How do I, what's an isometry? I don't understand. This is an algebra isometry. A 2D isometry is what? From a 2D vector. Yeah, give me this. Okay, so this is isometry. New. I guess this just takes whatever you want. Is that how that works? That's not how that works. Right? So vector D transform, oh, it's not vector, it's vector D transform M31 D transform M32. Then wake up, yeah, why not? Wake it up, you know. Wake me up inside. Create position. The example. Yeah, but these aren't the same vector 2s that I'm using, which is the problem. So I believe that these vector 2s are just n algebra vector 2s, whereas the vector 2s that I'm using are Euclid vector 2s. So they're the vector 2s that Firefox uses, while these are n algebra vector 2s, so they don't really translate too well. Takes two arguments. It takes two arguments. From a rotation angle. Yeah. Wasn't I? Oh, okay. So don't create a new one. Just create a new translation, right? Is that it? Yeah. Okay. So just new translation, something like that. Beautiful, not beautiful. Takes two arguments. Oh, sorry. Maybe. Cannot borrow data in a dereference. Trait deref mute is required to modify through a dereference, but it's not implemented for read write read guard. But what if I want to write? I need to read and write. Cannot borrow bodies is mutable. All right. That feels wrong. That feels wrong, but we're doing it. And then in the collision system, okay, wait, the ball system, we need to do the same thing roughly. I guess this doesn't need to be mutable. It's okay. The only mutable thing, since for the paddles, we're tagging everything to. For the paddles, we're tagging everything to just its position, right? Because they're not affected by physics. But for, I feel like this is wrong. I need a trip sitter. Physics body. This will also have a physics body, but then this will actually be affected by. This will actually be affected by something. So we'll do the same thing. We'll grab the ball. Something like this. Right. Then we'll also need the physics world. So same as here in the paddle system. Physics world, yeah. And then we go back to here. Apply force. Maybe. Wait, no. We don't need to... No, we just need to tag... Oh, no, we just need to do the same... Wait. Set position. I guess we'll just teleport, I guess? Because I need to tag the body. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm doing this backwards. Maybe I'm thinking about this backwards. Maybe I should be moving the position of the physics body. Yeah, what am I doing? I should be moving the physics body and then tagging the transform to that, not the other way around. Right? I don't know. Let's let's just keep going and see where this takes us. But I think I'm doing this backwards. Or at least in the wrong order. That's okay. Isometry. How do you pronounce this word? Pronounce. Isometry. I'm not doing that. How to pronounce? Sure, dictionary.com. Isometry. Yeah, okay, cool. Isometry. Not isometry. So isometry, translation. Then we'll just grab the transform values like we did before. We'll also wake it up, why not? Something like that. Doesn't need to be mutable, even though technically we are mutating the insides of it. And then the collision system. This is where things start getting spicy. The collision system, I think this is where we go back to this, the example. And then we need to tick. We need to tick Rapier based off of the physics step. Physics. I think after this shouldn't be too bad to work with, maybe? Yeah, because now we also have the drawable. Yeah. Because we don't care about whether or not it's a ball or a paddle. All we care about is the associated RID, and then we'll just move it. Actually, we don't need the velocity component either, right? You ever seen this error? Tree exiting is already connected. Yeah, it means that you're reconnecting a signal, or you're trying to connect a signal twice. Yeah. I mean, that's it does what it says on the tin. I'm not connecting anything. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I know for this application, OpenCPH GD, I have to make sure that I'm not connecting things multiple times. So let me see. There's somewhere where I needed to check. Is it this one? Yeah, you see that I always need to do, like, if it's not connected, then we want to connect. Otherwise, don't reconnect. Do you not have a stack trace or like an error line that you can go back to? because I mean that's what that does. This is what causes your error for sure, 100%. It might be worth it to check the, I guess maybe the Godot source and see if joint 2Ds are. Oh, you're doing Godot 4 because it is a callable. Yeah, I don't know. It still might be worth it to check the source code in Godot 4 and see if joint 2Ds are implicitly connecting things. That's what I mean. That's what the error is, right? It's already connected. There's no way around it. So pipeline. Oh. Oh, this is gonna suck. This is not good. I see it's gonna be error in this line. Physics world. Pipeline probably right. Then expect unable to get pipeline. Hey. Oh, now I need all of this stuff. Pub. All right, so now it's all public. Spring disable collisions is equal to not spring disable collision. Is it collision or collisions? I don't know. That shouldn't make a huge difference, but I don't know if that makes a difference. No S? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the source is always available, right? I mean, that because I've already told you what causes the error. And then the only way to really check after that is to check the source here. So we'll go to like joint 2D, see if it's connecting to anything, and then you can make a decision based off that. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. If resets the Go node somehow it fires exit tree as. Yeah, well, I mean, there you have it. It is connecting itself implicitly. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so there's disconnect signals. It seems like it sets up signals by itself. So it's, yeah, actually, it's actually line 120. That's what you want. So I guess you need to, maybe you'll want to unconnect it, maybe? I don't know. Like you can always unconnect the signal since it is just a scene tree object, right? Or even if it's just like a reference or something, it's not hard to unconnect it. Broad phase. I think yeah. We'll just try everything as right for now, and then we'll see if it breaks. Cool trick, since I have 180 of those errors, something spawning, we'll try to disconnect. Yeah. I think it's the same thing that you'll have to do if you want to, like if you want to have like custom functionality for like the file picker dialog, you can do the same thing. So you create the file picker dialog, but before you add it to the scene tree, then you just mess with all the nodes that it has. So I think that's actually how, yeah, that's how this works. So when you do like an add or remove, I actually hook into the file picker dialog beforehand, or the file dialog, and remove a few things and insert my own stuff. It does mean that it will break if any changes are made on the Godot side, but it's okay. To get narrow phase. Yeah, but that's the neat thing about Godot, is that it's fairly easy to just do your own thing, if that makes sense. Right? For anything that's a node, you can just mess with it however you want, which is nice. There aren't too many things that are just super baked in. I think one of the complaints about Godot 3 is that something that is very baked into the engine is how like skeletal or just skeletons work. So if you need different functionality, you're kind of out of luck. But I believe that's kind of changed in Godot 4. Maybe. Don't know. Alright, I think the biggest problem here that I can see is this might deadlock. Or it might not deadlock, but it will like hang until everything is available or ready to be used. Maybe. I think I see how this could be rewritten though. Yeah, I think the 100% I should probably, well, no. This collision system, I think this does make sense. Is all it does is we like tick and then we tick the collision, or we tick the physics system and then do a thing afterwards. Yeah. Head out. Hope the restoration goes well. Thanks for trip sitting. It's always nice to not be completely alone in my head, stuck in the low-level land of Rust code. Have a good rest of your night, Nova. Up and use GD script would be best way. Well, I can't, because that's not how an ECS works. So an ECS, like it runs everything in like this order, right? So have a good, yeah, later. So I can't insert anything. Yeah, basically I need to do everything in this order. There's no adjusting it, because that's just how an ECS works. Yeah, I think if I wanted to do this in more of like just a standard Godot way, I think it's not too hard. Like this person got it to work, so obviously it's possible. But I'm trying to think in the ECS way, which is, it's kind of messing me up. So the gravity equal, this might need to be an N algebra gravity now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, it's a private field. Actually, then that's fine, right? Nothing really needs to be changed here. Yeah, we can just grab that. Integration parameters. I don't really know what that means. Let's grab that, I guess. Integration parameters. Mutable integration params. Parameters default, I guess. Integration parameters. Max position iterations. Interesting. Max linear correction. And then we'll just run the entire thing through the pipeline. So we step the pipeline. That makes sense. Step. Oh, geez. So we take the gravity. Take a reference to the integration parameters. Seems like something that I could just hold on to, for being honest. Takes a broad phase. Takes a narrow phase. Takes a bodies. Takes a colliders. Takes a joints. I think that's something I was kind of confused about, actually. Is why their implementation has so much like weird stuff. Like joints and whatever. Takes 11 arguments, but 10 arguments were supplied. Is there one more I'm missing? Oh, this needs a vector. Okay. Well, we can pass in our own vector. That's fine. So we'll do excited vector. So this is physics world, gravity x, physics world, gravity y. So that should be fine. Takes 11 arguments, but 10 were supplied. Okay. Sure, so that's the gravity integration parameter islands. They're not using islands because the version of Rapier that they're using is... What am I using? I'm using 11. They're using... Oh, 0.7. Amazing. Okay. Pub islands. So this is a read-write lock for island manager. Sure. And then we'll just create a new one. Something like islands is equal to read-write lock island manager. Create a new one, that's fine. Island is equal to physics world islands. I guess we're writing to it because we need to mutate them. And then here, this requires a mutable island, mutable reference to an island manager. So islands. Oh baby. So when did they tick? Oh, they're actually manually calculating their own ticks. Interesting. Right, because actually this will be running way too fast. So do I need to keep track of the previous tick and the other tick, or can I provide my own tick? So integration parameters. integration parameters, Pascal cased, the time step length. Oh, okay, cool. So I can actually just set it myself. So integration params delta time is equal to whatever the heck I set this equal to. So this will be delta 0, and then we'll probably need to into it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe this will just work. Let's give this a compile. Please. Yes. All right. And then we'll send it. Nothing happened. Which makes sense. Yes. That makes sense because I didn't actually do the rest of the logic. All right. We're halfway there. He says for like the millionth time. All right. Oh, hydrate. Thank you for redeeming a hydrate. Much appreciated. I'm almost done with my water. All right. I think we're almost there. I think we're almost there. Do you like coffee? I do like coffee. I've been trying to drink less coffee though. Although I should probably start drinking a bit more coffee so I stop taking as many naps. Because I drink I say an entire pot, but it's not actually an entire pot. It's like 2 mugs worth of coffee in the morning. And then usually I try to cut back on the coffee because my blood pressure is that of like a 50-year-old male. But that usually means on most days I take a nap from like 5 to 6 p.m. or 6 to 7 p.m., which is why I'm constantly late for the stream. Intermute. I need 2 to 3 every day. Can't live without it. Espresso plus water. Double espresso. Yeah. I used to drink a lot more coffee when I was in school, but as I said before, I need to be careful about the amount I consume. Okay. Interesting. Okay, if there is something that has a velocity, which is really only... Do paddles have velocities? Do I create these paddles with velocities? They shouldn't. Okay, yeah, so it's really only the ball that has a velocity, which is okay. Although I don't actually need to track the velocity. So now I'm getting very confused. Yeah, actually, yeah, I shouldn't be... What am I doing? I don't need to do anything here. I just need a step, right? I only need the step like that. So the collision system just kind of works, and then the render system is where we start getting kind of spicy with it, because I need to grab the physics world once again. And then I get the position from the physics body of the ball, right? And so then we'll do... It's just a regular query, I think. So query needs to be something that is a drawable. And I think that's it. Yeah, anything that's a drawable, and then we just run through every single thing and draw it. So we'll do let visual server. So we only have one draw call now. You move the body's kinematic body position, update the sprite at the same time, or use components. I'm using components for that. So you can see here that we have various components. This is not a component, this is just delta, which is what's required for me to be able to track which number represents delta. So this is just a tuple struct, basically a new type. Then we have a drawable, which stores the RID plus the transform, which we need to pass back to Godot. Although we might not need to have the transform, it might just need to be an RID. We have the physics body for everything that's affected by physics or even interacts with the physics world. That makes sense to me. We have the paddle, which is just a label. We have the ball, which is just a label. And we have the velocity, which I feel like I might not need. Or actually, it might be better off like attached to the physics body. I'm still thinking about how to do this, as you can tell. But yeah, so we have some labels, and then we have components that map back to like one functionality specifically. So for a mutable D in query iter mute, something like that, we will do, and then, oh, and we also need to grab the entity. So paddle system has a physics body, but we actually don't need to worry about that. All will be handled by... Don't know why velocity would be useful. All will be handled by Rapier. Yeah. Well, I think you still need to hang on to your intended velocity. I think otherwise you just kind of lose. Maybe. I was thinking because of friction you just lose velocity anyways, but maybe that's not true. But I think I can take out this part. What is this one? What is your problem? Cannot borrow query as mutable. Oh, that's true. It doesn't need to be mutable. So viz server canvas item set transform. Ooh. RID D transform. So this should just work for paddles. But then for the physics body, maybe I do need to do this here. So we don't do any physics stuff. But here we will adjust the position of the paddle, maybe? What is your problem? Refutable. Refutable pattern in for loop binding. I guess we won't make this optional. And then what's this problem? Am I missing a parenthesis? I'm not missing a parenthesis. I mean, this is wrong. Ooh, am I missing a parenthesis? Am I crazy? I am missing a parenthesis. Yes. Or no, I had an extra greater than sign. Yeah, maybe I don't need a velocity at all. Now I just need to check on the ball. So this needs to be just a reference to a ball. Oh, but then we also need to have the velocity as well, because I want to do, if we collide, I want to track which way it's going, but maybe that doesn't make sense. Oh, there's so much forward planning that I'm not used to. My greatest weakness in programming is planning. I like it when I'm just kind of able to accidentally fall into a solution. That's a collider set. Like, I need to have an initial... Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Maybe all I... Like, maybe I don't even need... the ball system. Maybe I just need the collision system. So if I just take out all of this... Just let the ball system do absolutely nothing at all. And then here we'll listen for... Like, shouldn't planning be your expertise? Since it's your job. My job is to present ideas with a plan, yes. I think it's usually the big picture plan though, not the implementation. So I know what I want. What I want is to use an ECS, Bevy ECS, and I know which parts I need. Like, I want to do it via the visual server and Rapier. And I know that it's possible to do it like that because there is a Bevy plugin or a Rapier plugin for Bevy. So if it works like that, then it must be possible just to do it manually like I'm doing it. And different coding is complex. Yes, well, it's like it's a difference between like the high level plan and like the, implementation details. I think when it comes to implementation details, I just kind of wing it like 99% of the time, which is starting to bite me in the butt. So like this is easy. This velocity, maybe this should just be ball. And then we need to adjust the... So yeah, if it's a ball, we don't care if there is a ball. That's okay. But then based off of the update boxes, do I still have access to bodies? So we can do bodies. Just get. It doesn't need to be mutable. Yeah, get. Oh, and then I need the handle. So this needs to be something ball and then physics body. I realize I'm doing this in like a really weird way. What is it called? Rigid body? What did I call it? Body, because that's the body handle. So we should be able to grab that, yeah. Because it's no longer mutably borrowed here. This is a self-consuming step. Okay. So let's ball is equal to this, and we'll just expect it. So unable to get ball after collision. Sure. It should not disappear. But now what they do is they get the body position translation X. Okay. Okay. Transform M31 is equal to ball position. Ooh. Hold on. Let position is equal to ball dot position. I guess this isn't isn't really like super exposed anymore. Position. What are you at? Is it translation? Translation. X. No. Is it X? Is it vector? Please don't be vector. It might be vector. It is vector. Almost certainly. What the heck is this? What is this? Oh. So this is a rigid body. Rigid body has a position, yes. And then user, most of these fields are omitted, which is unfortunate. So position, position, position. So this value gives me an isometry. An isometry gives me this. Then from the isometry, we can grab the translation. So we look at the source. Isometry has a translation associated with it. So translation, sure. It's probably this one. A translation has a field of vector. Okay. So I should be able to just get X. Right? Oh, okay, so that's not the problem. The problem is that we can't. Cool. Code completion has failed me. Yet again. Okay. So then render system, all we need is a drawable, and then we'll just set the stuff like that. Maybe? Build me. Oh baby, okay. And then here, this is where things start getting spicy. Okay. Well, we're not moving, which is because when we create the ball, we don't set an initial velocity, or I guess an initial force. So what I can do is we do let p body, call it physics body. Let's not get lazy. Let physics body equal create physics body. I guess we'll just grab all of this. So there's your physics body, and then we'll add it here. Physics body, right? This needs to be mutable. I think something I'm starting to understand with Rust is that, like, pretty much, like, if you don't declare something as mutable, it's almost like equivalent to just calling the function like directly in another function, basically. Like it basically just means that you're passing it along almost immediately, but you're splitting it up so it's easier to read. Now, if you make it mutable, then you're doing like an additional like allocation, essentially. That's what I understand from it. Physics body, we can apply force, maybe. Torque. No, apply force, which is a vector, which is a vector. Excited. Let's send it to the right, perhaps. And then wake up, yeah, why not? Wake it up, sure. Apply force, no. Oh, right, so this is... this is not it. We don't have access to it. Actually, do we have access to it? So let mute done this in a really weird way. I need to rethink how I do this. This is tough. So bodies, please get mutable handle physics body. This doesn't need to be mutable. This does though. But we can just apply force or just straight unwrap it. Apply force. And it'll be this. Something like that. That is so weird. I didn't think you were allowed to do this. Oh. No, maybe this is okay. Just pass along the body. Maybe. This isn't good. This is very quickly deteriorated. Alright, so that didn't work. Okay. Run me again. Okay. So I thought that might work, but maybe not. Because... do I need to reset this? So this should be mutable. So this gives me a mutable reference to the rigid body with a given handle. Does that mean that it's... you need to update the render? It should be updating automatically. So the reason why I know that the render is auto-updating is that I've taken out the draw calls from the paddle system, because I think that makes sense. So the paddle system no longer does any drawing. So if we build again, after removing the dead code, we can run it, we can close it, we can run it again, because I think we do need to refresh the file system. So we are still rendering from the ECS, and we are still completely in line as well, but the thing isn't moving because of reasons. I wonder if it's because I need to pass in like the proper delta, or maybe the pipeline step isn't even running anymore. I don't know. We can add a print just to satisfy my own curiosity. So like, just call it like updated ball position. Hit it with a D. And we'll grab D transform M31. M32, something like that. Hey. Multiple unused formatting arguments. Oh, it's curly braces, sorry. So there was D like that, I think. Yeah, D like that. No, is D not it? How do you do format? Is it like this in Rust? I thought it was. No, that's not it. I don't remember how to do it in Rust. I guess this just figures it out. Takes a little bit. So yeah, we can see that we're updating the ball position to 0, which is not good. But the ball should have been... Oh, I see. I made a mistake. I've made a mistake. So, create physics body. I'm actually using just kinematic. So I should not be doing that. Yeah. So this is more like create kinematic body, and then I need to do like a create dynamic body. So this is kinematic body. That's my fault. I forgot. There's a difference. We'll just copy. Yeah, I forgot. I got too excited by the fact that I was able to compile without errors. So this is new dynamic, something like that. Then that should still work. We'll replace this bit. It takes the same arguments. It's not the most efficient use of space, but that's okay. Rust will figure it out. It's moving very slowly, so that's cool. Maybe we should just send it. I think it did move, though. It did move, Copium. Send it to 5,000, I don't know. That seems like something I should be able to adjust from Godot, but I'm not gonna do it just yet. Did it move? It appeared to move a little bit. I wonder why it's so weak. Just apply like 50,000 force. I don't know what each unit is equivalent to, but it's 50,000. Ooh, look at that. It's moving very slowly. Is it continuous force? It is probably a continuous force. I should be, you know, I should be doing apply impulse, but why is it so slow? Yeah, I should be doing apply impulse anyways. Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's the same. I always make the same mistake. It should be apply impulse. You are totally right, though. I made the same mistake in GDScript. Yeah, it was definitely moving. I could see that it was moving very, very slowly. But apply impulse. Oop. Oop. And I guess it just didn't bounce. So I can see that the Y position is moving and it's slowly moving away. All right, so how do I set the bounciness? So I guess it just sends it like really quickly, right? That might be a bit too fast. But how do you do bounce stuff? Yeah, so we can see that it's moving. Amazing. And then it just kind of hits it and then like very slowly slides off. The X value is incrementing. It's now hit 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Check the physics material. I don't have a physics material. Is it implemented in rigid body? I don't really know. See, that's where I'm a little confused now. I don't really know what to do. Isn't there's like a restitution? Just like maximum bounciness, I suppose. I don't know what that means in terms of colliders though, because it feels like it should be something on the actual body, right? So we're moving. Oh, there we go. Look, it works. It's as simple as that, baby. Easy. It only took like a million hours. All right, so the bounciness is applied on the collider. Actually, hold on. So I should move this. Where was it? Restitution. So we will do this. Something like that. So the cargo build. Send it. It'll bounce off. It loses a bit of speed for sure, and then it just kind of like very slowly wiggles away. Yeah, I mean that's it, right? It works, I suppose. Bounce me up. Yeah. Okay. So I think if I want to do it so like it gains more speed, yeah, friction, but I don't. Well, I think on every single bounce you'll always lose any speed, right? Like how do I set friction? There's mass, but I don't think mass is what I want. Is it colliders? Yeah, it is probably like collider. I remember that was one of the things I needed. So like, I think I need, well, okay, there's friction, I suppose. We can set friction, why not? I don't know. Set friction. How do you spell friction? Friction. Set it to 0. Is that okay? Is that not something I can do? Collider builder. Oh, oh, it's only on collider. Oh, sorry. So collider builder. Is it just called friction? Oh, yeah. What do you know? What a sensible API. No, I set friction to 0, and it still lost a little bit of yeah. No, friction is still 0. I think I need to add a hook to it. Both speed body. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. We can check. I would think that it wouldn't matter, but maybe I'm crazy. I keep forgetting you need to build first. Build me. No, I still definitely lost a little bit. Well, maybe I didn't. I don't know. No, I definitely lost some speed. Definitely lost some speed. Maybe I need to... That doesn't feel right though, right? Like, do I need to also set the restitution, which is the bounciness? I see that there's another thing, like the restitution combine rule, which I don't super understand what that means. So there's a friction combine rule. There's a restitution combine rule. Sets the rule to be used to combine 2 restitution coefficients in a contact. I guess we could multiply it. I guess we could multiply. Is damping? I don't know. What if we just send it? Or actually, there is also the restitution combine rule and then the friction combine rule. Oh, okay. So this is just the coefficient combine rule. So we'll import this. I don't know why I'm doing like a direct import now. But dynamic body, we can do the, I don't know, we can set the combine rules for it. So restitution combine rule. So coefficient, please multiply me. And then for the friction, we can take the coefficient combine rule minimum. Maybe. That makes sense to me. Oh, friction combine rule. Yeah. Send me one more time. Okay. Just hard stop. I did something wrong. So restitution, I don't know. Maybe we just multiply it. I don't know. I thought that was correct. Speed up. Well, you would want the friction to be the least friction possible, right? Is that not true? And then, but the restitution, you want it to be, the restitution, which is the bounciness, you want that to multiply to be as high as possible. Oh. So we're sending it. No, now it just sends it to, it just hard stops. Oh, it's because this one has a restitution. All right, my bad. My bad. 1 times 0 is still 0. My bad. Okay, well now it's really fast. It's also not really... What it should be doing is when we set position of the kinematic body, it should be transferring the velocity to the bounce. But I guess since it's like this, we can just kind of clip it into it. Yeah, look at that. I don't know. It almost seems like it's accelerating, but that's neat. Look at that. Maximum performance, baby. Actually, it's probably pretty slow because it's like printing a lot. As fast as possible. Or, I don't know actually. I don't know how fast it's ticking. Let's get rid of the prints because I guess at this point can guarantee that we're actually setting stuff. And then we can profile it, I suppose. Even though it's really, really simple. So we'll just let this bounce. We'll profile it. Send me. What's the frame time? Seems to be pretty good. FPS 60, capped. There is no physics process essentially, since nothing is happening in the physics process. I don't know. Seems okay. There's 8 nodes in the picture as well, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess 8. So 900 objects. Yeah, that's true. But I'm not creating any objects. I mean, I guess we can profile the object counts as well, but I didn't create anything. Yeah, so there's 2 items but 5 draw calls. That seems not good. Where's the other draw calls? I should only have... Well, actually, no, that's true. There are 5 draw calls. I'm calling 3 things manually. Yeah. Hold on. So if we get rid of marker A and marker B, because we don't need these anymore, we have a camera, which is the rendering viewport handled by Godot. We have the color rect also handled by Godot. So we just send it, I guess. So monitors, 956, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the objects. I suppose it's from Rust, but I don't know what's going on with that. Like nothing should really be changing. I mean, this looks pretty good, I think. Pretty constant. Yeah, I mean, draw cause 4 seems okay. Looks stable. Yeah, see, that actually looks more correct, so we can ping it down. Oh, goodbye. Just kind of wiggles away. I don't know. Well, now that we have something working anyways. Now that we have something that works. It lives. He's done it. I mean, that's pretty much it. Now I just need to do the rest of the stuff. There's a lot of cleanup that's needed here now. Oh no. There's a lot of cleanup. Like, a lot of this is, like, this isn't good. I hate this. Also, pretty much the entire ready step is also pretty gross. This is too much code. Well, I think that's about as expected for Rust, honestly. But I'm not sure what else to do in this instance, right? So, because I know why this is necessary, right? It's because Bevy is multi-threaded by default. And so you can't just say that like the physics are safe to send across threads, because that's not true. I don't know. I need to look at the actual Bevy Rapier plugin and see how they handle the multi-threading problem. But I don't know. I'll need to look up an additional implementation. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think the main thing that needs to be cleaned up is it's this part. I hate this. Everything that's happening here in Ready is bad. Especially this part at the very end where we don't actually create the physics world until we've created all of our colliders. I think that feels kind of weird. I feel like we should be able to do it, I guess, almost like in the opposite direction. So we create everything here, and then we insert the objects and then pass them over to the world, maybe? I don't know. Like creating the images or creating all the paddles and whatnot, that makes sense to me. Like, so we hold on to all the RIDs. Yeah, that makes sense. This part doesn't make too much sense. How possible that you make it more like a framework since you know how it works? I think the hard part is that, I don't know, like how would you, yeah, I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible. I just need to think about it, right? Because creating a new physics object is not too hard. Like create an object that contains RID textures and the ECS entity. Yeah. I think it's not too hard since that's already kind of happening. Maybe it's just like defining I guess how it moves and stuff might be a bit more complicated. I think that's going to require planning. That's going to require a lot of planning. It's going to require a lot of planning for like the API and stuff, because it's yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to envision how would you make this more generic without requiring any Rust code. So like this is pretty good. Like create paddle, you know, all it does is it requires the image, and then it requires like maybe like the label that identifies it. So that's like the hard part, is like what do we do about the label? Because you can't just do random stuff. Like Rust is ahead of time compiled. So maybe it needs to be like a different, so maybe instead of like labeling things like paddle left and paddle right. No, but then how do you determine which things are controlled by the user? You need to have like a user control label. It's learning practice. I don't know. I don't know. I need to think about that. Like this is something where I might actually need to like whiteboard it. One of the few rare instances in real life where whiteboarding might actually be helpful. To like literally draw out what needs to be done. Maybe don't pull out the Rust part. Well, you do need to like if you want to make it like a framework, or at least like basically replace Godot's entire physics system, which would be the more interesting part, you'll need to work within Rust. I don't know. I think it's more interesting to be like write some sort of framework that allows you to just rip out Godot's own collision system. I think that's more interesting, as opposed to just like, hey, you can, I guess, write more Rust stuff. Like I think it's cool. Like you could be like, in addition to some of the code that I've written, you can plug and play like your own, like just a different collision system if you want. So it won't use any. Oh, but hold on. That's tough. Maybe that's the second iteration. Well, I guess like we are at like almost second iteration stage. Well, right now we're in like the in-between cleanup stage. I don't know, like, I guess that's okay. Well, actually, hold on. If I change this back, so git check out master. Put me on the monitors. We'll look at the amount of objects. It's bouncing pretty quickly. How many objects do we have? Actually, the amount of objects is about the same. Oh, and then it went away. Check it out. Yeah, actually, the amount of objects in the Godot one is higher. Yeah, I think Godot just generates a lot of garbage objects automatically, so it's not really my problem. Yeah. So if you look at these, yeah, this is not too bad. Actually, my project here actually has about 15 less objects. My Rust version has about 15 less objects. Okay, well it jumped up to 970, but that's okay. Yeah. So is it more efficient? Debatably. It's debatable. I don't know. I think it is more deterministic. So if you noticed before, when we were running the Godot version, the ball would just kind of bounce out for no reason, even though there's no reason why it should be bouncing up or down, right? Because we're not moving the paddles. I didn't move the paddles. So no up or down velocity should have been transferred to the object. Whereas with this one, it's just bouncing back and forth. How nice. And look at that. There's only 2 items to draw. Actually, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Wait. I actually don't know. What is a 2D item? So there's the color rect, and I guess just like the basic background. But then the draw calls are 4, which is the background, and then the regular background maybe. Or no, it's just the background and then like the 3 objects that I'm drawing right here, right? Because I'm drawing these manually. I don't know. Godot, Pong, Bevy, Rapier. Oh, let's just pull request it, send it. Well, I guess we should actually kind of fork it really quick. So I'll replace master with Godot git check out master. Please git restore. Git restore. Git check out master. Git push. Or git check out. We'll cut a new branch. GD scripts, I guess. Well, git check out branch GD scripts. Status. We'll pull a request against my own repository, and then we'll send it. So I guess we've just replaced the master branch with Rust. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. So if you are interested, you can take a look. It should just work on all desktop platforms. You will need a pretty recent version of the Rust compiler. I don't remember what version I'm running. I'm running Rust 158. That's not bad. All right, reload me. Reload. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will be live tomorrow. I've been trying to stay more on time when I end my streams, but yeah, I'll be live tomorrow from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, working on maybe this, trying to clean it up so that I can make it into something that basically you can, I guess if you wanted to change your physics system, you could do it like this. Although it is kind of weird, right? Because if you have other logic that's based off of positioning, that's something that I would need to expose to the user. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, right? Like I'm still running that through my head. Is how would you, because there is no node anymore. Because there is no node, how would you know? How would you know where the object is anymore? I would need to pass back the RID. Yeah, I guess I would need to pass back the RID. And then all your logic afterwards would have to be based off of the transform 2D. Or even just like we'll do just 2D for now, right? All your future logic will have to be based on the position returned by the visual server, which is only a transform 2D. So like I could wrap that as like a Rust struct, or you could write your own GD script implementation, because calling the visual server is very cheap, very fast. Need Godot to watch data, yeah. Like I think if you wanted to like position things after the fact, that would be kind of tough. Yeah, like I'm turning this into a framework. I'm not sure if it's like even feasible. You would, at least like as a replacement for Godot physics. Because then after that point, it's just too hard to interact with whatever is going on here, right? You signal between Rust and Godot, yeah. You can. So Godot Rust has all the stuff, right? You can connect to signals, you can emit signals, whatever. That could work. Yeah, but then it's like, how would you make it generic? That's like, yeah, or I guess how would you make it generic in like a good way? I don't know. But yeah, you know, give the channel a follow if you haven't already. I wrote this thing. This is free and open source Apache 2 license. This is free and open source MIT license. This is free and open source, etc., etc. Look at that. Everything is open source. Custom types, maybe. Well, there's the hard part about passing custom types to Rust, in that you must, any custom types passed to Rust, you'll need to do like .call, you know, method, which isn't too much slower, but it's like another layer of indirection, I guess. But I don't know. I actually don't know if that's a lot slower or not. It's hard to say. But yeah. Stream tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. There's a Discord. There's the GitHub. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I guess I'll try to pass it on to anyone else. So there's Nova, there's Wyatt, there's a few people. There's a few people. I'll send you over to Wyatt. I haven't raided Wyatt in a while. We'll send you. He's also doing Godot, or they are also doing Godot, I should say. Yeah. Goodbye.